Sinister Love by Meronica Forrester-Kent. All lights out.
Blood was running. Something sinister had come to our town of Bridal.
Spotlight on Harriet Parks as she addresses the audience.
My name is Harriet Parks, but most call me Harry. And on a chilling winter afternoon was when everything went wrong. My town of Bridal had experienced an occasional robbery, but nothing as sinister as this.
Lights up on stage left. Jaden Harper and Carly Gems are seen sitting on a park bench cuddling with each other.
I love you so much, Jay.
They kiss.
I love you too, Laemmel.
Lights go out on stage left and spotlights Harriet again.
Jaden Harper and Carly Gems were as opposite as you could get. Carly was the quiet, nerdy writer, while Jaden was an all-star goalie. Even though they were two completely different people, they managed to be the cutest couple in Bridal. On that cold winter morning was when my dad, Detective Parks, got a chilling call from Carly Gems about a body.
Lights up on stage left to see Carly Gems crying over Jaden Harper's dead body.
No, 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 no.
Lights go out on stage left and spotlights Harriet again.
Jaden was pronounced dead before lunch. He had been shot with what we were guessing was a rifle. This struck fear among our town. Was this a one-time incident? And who would be so sinister to do such a thing?
Lights are up to show a dining room table with papers laid out. Sitting at the head of the table is Detective Parks. Harriet walks over.
Any more leads, Dad?
No, my little detective. We've talked to everyone who could have had a grudge against him. We even talked to his girlfriend, but nothing adds up. And to top it off, the town is going crazy. People are thinking the worst.
Don't worry, Dad. You'll find out who did it. You always do. And don't worry about the townspeople. They're not like us. They like to take action while we like to use our brains. Once the case is closed, everything will calm down.
The doorbell rings. Harriet goes to open the door at stage right. Standing there is Tammy Hunter.
Hey, Harry.
Harriet addresses the audience.
Tammy Hunter is my friendly neighbor. I wouldn't say we're best friends because I mostly keep to myself, but we hang out sometimes. Tammy's best friend was Jaden. They knew each other since they were in preschool, and his death had taken a toll on her.
Harriet goes back to address Tammy.
Hey, Tam, please come inside.
Tammy walks inside.
Hi, Mr. P. How's the case going?
Well, to be honest, not great. We've interrogated everyone who knew him and found the murder weapon. We sent it to get it analyzed for any fingerprints.
Don't worry, Mr. P. I'm sure you'll figure it out soon.
Thanks, Tam. How are you holding up?
I'm not. Jaden was my best friend, and a part of me feels like it died with him that night.
Don't worry. I promise my dad and I will find out who murdered him and will bring him to justice.
Thanks, Harry. Well, I better get going. I promised my mom that I wouldn't stay out too late. Bye, Harry, and thank you again.
Tammy leaves and Harriet addresses the audience.
My mind was a twister of thoughts. I came up with theory after theory on why someone would want to kill the all-star goalie. I guess this is one of the many reasons my parents named me Harriet. You see, I was named after Harriet the Spy. It's a book that was published in 1964 and then was turned into a movie in 1996. My dad would always call me his little detective. Ever since I was born, I was a curious child, always questioning everything and anything. Even though my dad told me to stay out of this, I couldn't. Both my dad and I knew we didn't have the whole story. So next on my list was to talk to people who knew Jaden. Now, I know what you're thinking. Your dad already did that. But the thing is, children tend to be more truthful towards peers than adults. You see where I'm going with this?
Harriet walks from stage right to the park bench at center stage where a tearful Carly Gems sits. Harriet sits next to Carly Gems.
Hey, how are you holding up?
I'm not, Harry. Jaden was the only one I could act like myself around. I can't even do anything about it now, and it angers me. I try so hard to look like I'm okay and to keep myself controlled, but I can't. Everyone keeps coming up to me saying, I'm sorry for your loss, but I feel like they don't even care. I just want it all to stop.
Carly Gems breaks down again while Harriet puts an arm around her.
I know how you feel. When I was 11, my mom died from cancer. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought she had a cold or whatever. She would always say, everything's going to be all right, my little detective. We're both survivors and we'll get through this together. I wanted so bad for her to be right, but something in my stomach told me she was wrong. She fought her last battle 5 years ago. I spent hours in my room screaming and crying about how unfair it was, that she was supposed to be a warrior and fight it off. But I learned I couldn't do anything about it. Jaden's death is not your fault.
That's where you're wrong. It is my fault. The night before he died, I went over to his house. I was about to ring his doorbell when I heard arguing. Jaden and Cameron, his brother, were arguing.
Lights dim a bit on Carly and Harriet and brightens at the stage right where Cameron Harper and Jaden Harper are arguing.
Why can't you just be happy for me?
How can I be happy for you when you stole the only girl I ever loved? You get everything. Everyone is so proud of you. You get scholarships and people who are begging to have you on their team. And when I tell people my last name, the only thing that they care about is that I live with the famous Jaden Harper.
Lights brighten on Carly and Harriet.
They were arguing about me. Cameron was a really good friend of mine before I started dating Jaden, and now that I think about it, he was always jealous of his brother. I believe that he came to his breaking point when I started dating his brother. I turned around then and left to go home. I didn't think my presence would help.
So, you think Cameron killed Jaden?
They said the murder weapon was a rifle. Well, Cameron's favorite thing is to go hunting.
That moment in time when I realized Cameron was the main suspect was an exciting and scary moment. One moment I'm thinking, I have a suspect like a real detective. But the thought of someone killing their sibling over jealousy was just sickening. Now, like a responsible teenager, I should have gone to my dad with the information, but I didn't. I was blinded by the fact that I could actually solve this murder. Next step, confronting Cameron.
Harriet goes to Cameron's house and knocks on his door. Cameron opens the door.
Hey, who are you?
Harriet addresses the audience.
Seriously? I've been in this guy's class for 3 years straight.
Harriet goes back to addressing Cameron.
I'm Harriet Parks, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Ah, detective's daughter. Sure.
So, I heard that your favorite sport is hunting. Is that true?
Yes, it is. My brother may have been an all-star goalie, but I'm the, I guess you would call, protector of the family.
Were you ever jealous of your brother?
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't? He had the prettiest girl in school. He was the most popular guy in school. He even had colleges lining up at his door. Who wouldn't want all of that?
Do you have any history of violence?
No, why are you... You think I killed my brother? Look, I already talked to the police about this. After I got into a fight with my brother, he stormed out the door, and I stormed up to my room. I regretted everything when I woke up. I ran downstairs to tell him I was sorry, only to be met by a police officer telling us that my brother was dead. Believe me, I would do anything just to see my brother and tell him that I'm sorry.
Cameron pauses for a moment before leaving. Harriet addresses the audience.
The moment Cameron made his confession, I saw sincerity in his eyes. I knew that he couldn't have killed his brother. Even though this should have made me feel relieved, I wasn't. I now was without any suspect. The only place I could think of going was to the scene of the crime.
Harriet walks under crime scene tape.
It was the middle of winter and I was trekking through the woods. I searched for hours to find something concrete that would point to the killer, and with each minute, my self-esteem got lower and lower. Just before I left, that's when I found it. Physical evidence that led me straight to the killer.
Harriet holds up a bloody bracelet.
Tammy killed Jaden. Right then and there, it all made sense. Tammy and Jaden had been best friends since preschool, and Tammy must have developed feelings for him and then was devastated when he started dating Carly. I mean, how would you feel if you loved a guy since preschool and then he chose someone else? But then again, would Tammy really go to the extreme length just because she was jealous? At that moment, it didn't matter. I had to tell my dad.
Harriet runs into her house and straight towards Detective Parks.
Dad, Tammy killed Jaden. I saw it. Well, not the murder. I found her bracelet and it had blood on.
Whoa. Slow down and start from the beginning.
I went to the crime scene. I know you told me to stay out of this, but I couldn't. I was searching for a while, then I found something horrifying.
Harriet gives Detective Parks the bloody bracelet.
Oh my. Thank you for bringing this to me. I'll look into this immediately. But when I get back, we're going to have a talk about your secret mission.
Detective Parks gives Harriet a fleeting hug before leaving off of stage right.
I thought I would be happy about the fact that I solved a case, my first case, but I obviously didn't know Tammy as I thought I did. Why would she kill someone over jealousy?
Lights brighten at stage right to show Tammy handcuffed in a prison outfit.
Tammy confessed her guilt in court and was charged with second-degree murder. She confessed and said,
I was angry at Jay for picking someone new instead of the girl who loved him since preschool. I didn't mean to kill him. We were just talking that night. We went rifling that night. It wasn't his favorite sport, but it was mine. And the whole time, all he could talk about was Miss Perfect. I snapped. I yelled at him for forgetting about me and how he didn't even care that I liked him. And that's when I did it.
Lights go down on stage left and spotlights Harriet again.
I learned a lot from this case. I learned everyone has a secret that they hide, and everyone has rage that they don't show until that moment when it becomes too much for them. Cameron's rage almost got him in serious trouble, and Tammy ended up paying for it. I learned that people aren't just good or bad, that everyone has a little bit of both in them. It's the way they choose to act that shows who they really are. Carly Jim's grieved that night, but still kept secrets. Cameron felt guilty that night, but still kept quiet. Tammy raged that night and killed Jaden. They all paid for their actions in one way or another. The quiet town of Bridal will forever know of this case as the murder of Sinister Love.
Lights go out. End of play.